Hello and welcome to Gabbitt Media. I thought I was live about 20 seconds ago, so I was just talking to myself. But I think I'm actually live now. If you could confirm that, that would be really great. It's on the screen anyway. Hey, hello, Vartan Panasane? Panasane, I think it is. Luna Lotus, nice to see you again. Hopefully the sound's working. Let me know. So different camera setup. Is there an echo, is there? Ooh. Okay, let me see if I can sort that out first. What I'm going to do, I should be able to sort that out with that. Has that helped? Let me know if that's working. Are we working now? There could be. Now, hang on. I know what that is. Got it now.
Are we there yet? Are you there? I think we've got the echo sorted, but hopefully that's loud enough for you. Yeah, I've turned off my speakers. It's the cam link should be. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. Is it a little better? Still echo? Nope, still echoing. Oh, yes. Okay, much better. There we go. Hey, so it was. I've got it all set up today. I've gone for it with the live streaming. I've had so much fun that I thought, right, let's really go to town with this one. So I've got a new camera, which I can hook up to my computer with a cam link, Elgato cam link or whatever it is. And I've got a new microphone. This is a proper radio microphone. This is SMB, Shure SM7B. And it should give me that nice radio sound. And I've got the dreadful webcam that's like 15 years old over there. And you can see me waving. Hopefully you can see me waving. And hopefully you can see my screen. So you can see a tiny bit of what I'm working on. I don't know whether that's a great thing or not. So where are we? I'm a bit ill today. I missed the podcast, the Blenderness podcast yesterday because I was just too ill. But today I'm back. I'm on it. Charlie Rigdon, is that the Charlie Rigdon I know from the past? So hello Grant, how you doing? I'm doing fine, thank you, Charlie. If it is the Charlie Rigdon I'm thinking of, who I used to teach, is that right? Anyway, it's nice to see you all. Thanks for all the nice comments already, and 20 likes already. That's lovely. I haven't even started on the 20 likes. So what I was going to do today was have a chat with you all, as always, and ask me your questions. It was a bit of man flu, yes, Unleashed 75. I've been ill twice already this year, and I've sorted out my diet, so it's like really good and stuff, and do lots of exercise. But I can't believe it. I got ill twice. So I was ill at the beginning of the year, ill over New Year, in fact, for about a week, and I've been ill since Wednesday. And like I say, I missed the Blender Nest podcast. So if you do watch that on Thursday, I think that's out. I think they put a sickness sign in for me instead. Anyway, I'm not sure about this. Twice already, I know. And it's like not just colds. They've been proper viruses. I've been in bed sort of thing. I should eat more sugar. Exactly that. I know, it's crazy, isn't it? So yeah, but if I sometimes talk about my diet on here, and I think it's like I try and get as optimum as possible because I really love sport and I want to be performing as optimal as I can, but it's not happening for me. Hello, little wolf. Nice to see you again. Just stop getting sick. Where are we? There's what mic are you using? So it's the Shure SM7B, and I've been having loads of microphone problems, but this one, because it's a dynamic mic, I can't seem to use cardioid condenser mics. Is that the right word? But those ones that are supposed to be really good, but it just didn't work for me. This is happening on this. So I'm quite happy about that. Anyway, just start already. Okay, yeah, all right. Spot man. I like to have a chat with people first, if you don't mind. Okay, so let me know if there are any issues throughout the stream. That would be great. And I am... Oh, hang on. So just start. I think maybe that's the advice for someone else. Anyway, I don't know what's going on in the stream. I find it hard to follow whilst thinking about where I'm going and what I'm going to do as well. Create a new highlight video. I'm looking at my screen at the moment and it's giving me some weird options. Anyway, what I've been working on, so I've got a freelance contract. That's what I thought I'd generally do with these live streams, is just talk about the freelance work that I'm doing, and you can ask me questions about it, what it's like to be a freelancer and so forth. And today's question, if I could put that up, where's the screen? There's an image somewhere. There we go, which I'm covering up. So we're doing 2D characters, and I'm using Photoshop. Sorry to Critter fans. I do use Critter as well, but I tend to stick with Photoshop just because I know it, and I have to teach it in college, so it's better that I understand those shortcuts. Wow. Chance McDonald. Wow. That's amazing. $50. That's really, really kind of you. I have to stop the stream just for a second. I'm absolutely shocked. Yeah, Unleashed 75. Wow as well. That's incredible. That's really kind of you. Thank you very much. So I do freelance. Thanks again, Chance McDonough. I always feel like I'm not giving those people enough credit for giving me money. It's really nice. Thank you very much. Anyway, so I do freelance. So I'm a teacher, YouTuber, and a freelancer. So I do sort of 2D art occasionally, but more 3D stuff, as you can imagine. But it's really nice to get asked to do a bit of 2D stuff, and that's the question that I often I got distracted there. What was I saying? Question I often, oh wow, Caffeine Injected as well. Hello, Caffeine Injected. You often comment on the YouTube stream. So YouTube stream, and I always see you in the comments, and it's lovely to hear from you as well. Has someone else just... Wow. What is going on? I haven't even started. Chance McDonald, have you seriously just donated $200? This is... What the... You just want to see my reaction. And the comment is, poop yourself. I'm not going to do requests, but I feel like it from the... Now you can poop yourself, I see. Wait, what is going on? Exactly. So I'm going to get on with this in a second. But I'm just... Is this an option? It's really kind of all of you to donate. Both of you to donate, because that was... Chance McDonald again. So that's $250 from Chance McDonald. I really appreciate that. It does make a huge difference. It really does. It makes me feel good about myself, for one, that the content is nice for people and they're enjoying it. But it also means I can keep going with the channel, and I don't have to stress too much about my freelance contracts. Anyway. Okay. So freelancing. So that's a good idea. Unleashed 75. If you have a question at me at the front, then I can see it's a question rather than just a general comment. I'm looking to get into freelance, and wondered about how you find customers if they find you. That is the biggest question. The way I find customers is don't do any advertising, and they come to your YouTube video and say, "Can you do this for me?" Unfortunately, I can't give a huge amount of advice on that, because I'm very lucky that I've got a YouTube channel that's working really well. And that's bringing in revenue in the terms of freelance contracts and things. And people are obviously getting lost. I'm a bit taken aback. You can tell I'm a bit surprised at getting a donation of that size. That's extreme, that is. Is Blender Today on at the moment? I think that's just finished, Blender Today, hasn't it? That's a good point. I shouldn't clash with them. That's bad, isn't it? It's really kind to give donations. Don't feel like you have to. That's not why I do this. I do this for fun. I do get advertising revenue as well, so that is good. But I shouldn't overlap with Blender Live in future. Sorry about that to those who want to watch that. And I understand if you want to watch that instead, you can leave. I feel like I'm in front of a class anyway. So back to the freelance questioning and things like that. So in terms of trying to find contracts and people to freelance with, who are going to... I'm completely lost. I'm completely thrown. The main thing is to be really good at what you do. I know that sounds silly, but don't panic too much about getting out there. Yes, you do need to, but it comes quite easy if you've got lots of content and you're doing lots. So running an Instagram, if you are constantly producing stuff, that's fairly easy because you just post it up. Get something like Hootsuite and you can post on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook at the same time. I think 3 is the free account and you can get all 3. And just post it and it will go up to all of them. So that's the quickest and the quickest and easy way to sort of get yourself out there. Get onto forums and look at the job postings on forums. I wouldn't bother with things like Fiverr or Upwork or People Per Hour or those things because you are competing against masses of people and it's very hard to get noticed on there. It's better just to say, here's my work, get it out there and join in with the community, interact with the community. Hopefully that makes sense. Anyway, I'm going to 4 to 5 Monday. So I shouldn't be hitting. I've tried not to overlap with Blender today, but they might be overrunning. Yes, proof of quality content production is a huge boost. Yeah, so if you can prove to people that you're good, you'll get hired. In my opinion. So it's all about portfolio. Anyway, so you can see behind me, if I get this, where are we? There's the image there. So you can see what I've been working on. I'm not the most amazing 2D artist, but what are they called? Dino Hatches is the game, and they're making. They want to do the sort of videos in Blender, the promotional videos, so they want it to actually be 3D eventually. So, which is why they contacted me initially, and then they said, actually, we just want the characters to be 2D cardboard cutouts, but then they want to be able to zoom around them. So they're 2D that will go into the Blender. So I will do tutorials about how you can sort of take 2D objects into 3D later on. But what I'd show you today was my process of doing some 2D work. Excuse me, I will have to cough every now and again because of my slight illness. I'm much better today than I was over the last few days, so certainly coming around. That's nice. Anyway, so you can see the sort of characters I'm doing. There's what I can't remember what this one's called, Jetpack Jackson or something. I think that was named, and this one is Smart Sue or something like that. And they're all sort of explorers, adventurers, and you can sort of generally see what the quality is. I mean, it's not hugely high. They're not getting paid a huge amount for this. If it were, what are these donations? Sorry, I'm just checking the stream. So what I'm trying to say is that you have to obviously level your quality to what you're getting paid, and that's the first thing I will ask a client is what's the quality you're aiming at, because that will make a difference to the price that I'm giving. I suppose I might be different from other artists. Other artists might just say, here's my work, this is the quality, that's what you're getting, and here's how much it is. Whereas I like to be able to adapt my artwork for the client and what they can afford. Yes, it will be up for. I always post this up, the videos afterwards. It's just the one click actually. I just press go live. Put it on my YouTube listing. I do have a playlist actually. I think it's in the description. A playlist of all the lives and stuff, the live stuff. And I'm not doing very well today. I am a little bit ill still, so I'm not doing particularly well. Let's just see what people are saying. Yep, the video will up later. Could you make a tutorial on making low poly vehicle by using blueprints? Yeah, I probably will do that at some point actually. Anyway, so what I've got to do today is the 4th character. So you can see I've done a really rough sketch, and it is very rough. So that's the first thing I did with the client. Was, in fact, I might have them somewhere if I can show you that, because you might be interested in the process. Hopefully you are interested in the process. Let's have a look. So you can see these really very rough sketches. In fact, I got this completely wrong with the client because I thought they wanted, because it was called Dino Hatches, I had in my head that they wanted dinosaur characters. So this is what I came up with first. And they're really rubbishy sketches, but it was just to sort of show what I'm, get some ideas basically. So, and there they are, these simple characters. And they said, no, that the main characters are actually people. And I thought, oh dear. Luckily, they still went with me. I said, I'm really sorry. Got completely the wrong end of the stick. And we've ended up with these dinosaurs. But luckily, they were okay about that and saw the funny side of it. I suppose it's just cost to me in a sense, isn't it? And then we came up with, oh no, I've pasted that into this one. Wait, undo that. There we go. Right, let's them in Photoshop. Do people use Photoshop? Let me know. Do you use Photoshop? Okay, so then we came up with these characters, and I just had with the dinosaurs. I gave them generally I sketch lots of them, and then think, right, those are the 4 best. I'll go with those. Whereas this one, I was running out of time, so I thought, right, let's just get these out. And they have changed their mind on a couple of them, bits and pieces, and I've adapted them a lot. But you can sort of see the really rough, very, very rough beginnings, just so they could see what roughly the idea that I was having. Not that these were anywhere near final pieces, as it were. So some people using GIMP, vectors, yeah. Oh, excuse me. I'm not as comfortable with Illustrator. I find it a bit slower. Gives slightly cleaner work, but it's just that much slower for me to get results from, because probably just because I'm not fast enough in it. Free programs for video editing. There is what's it called? DaVinci Resolve. That's the word. It's supposed to be the best one for. I'm thinking of moving across to it away from Premiere actually. Critter for drawing and GIMP for the effects. Yep, that makes a lot of sense. Sketchbook Pro. I think I've used a sort of a free-ish version of that or something. You can video edit in Blender. It's fairly tough going, I would say. Generally speaking, with Photoshop, so I won't really go through the controls much and things, because you can do all the same things pretty much. Should have brought some water with me, shouldn't I? As you can on Critter. Yeah, Critter, Photoshop, Inkscape, I think is a vector one, isn't it? Yes, yeah, someone's saying that. Generally speaking, it's just the style that we're going for. In effect, that's the same with Blender even, that it's not really about your ability to use the program, although it is more so with 3D work, but it is your artistic ability, and I think that's going to come to the front more and more as these programs get easier and easier to use, and the user interface, it gets easier and easier, as it were. Okay, so I've got my character. I'll leave the jetpack one open because there's a few sort of points I'll make as I'm going through. Why have I got this one open? Oh, that's just the characters. You can see them there, and you can see them on my thumbnail as well if you're interested. Yeah, there's the payment model for Adobe. I'm not so sure. I don't quite know how to take it with Adobe and stuff, but yeah, we'll not talk about payment models and things. That always upsets people, and I can understand why. Okay, so here's my character. I'm just going to move my mic a little bit so I can move in a bit. Yeah, you can onion skin with any program, generally speaking, that has layers, and so you can see what I've done with this. Actually, I'm doing a sort of onion skinning thing with this. So there's the original sketch, which is, like I say, it's a very rough sketch, but it's all roughly in the right place. So this is generally the way process that I use, and I've seen many other people use as well, which is you do your initial sketch and then you put it onto you create a new layer to draw over it, and then you start doing the more detailed line work. Okay, so let's zoom into here. Control plus if you're interested. I can't get the keyboard shortcuts in Adobe, so that's a bit disappointing. I wonder if there is an add-on, not an add-on, but a sort of a program or something that I can use to do keyboard shortcuts. So are people liking the camera setup? Is it actually useful to people, or am I being a bit silly having lots of cameras? I've got a green screen as well behind me. I'm very proud of myself. It's all happening. What sort of ballpark would someone charge for freelance work? Well, very, very rough ballpark is between £15 and £30 per hour. That's I don't like to go to as low as 15 these days, because I think that I'm worth more than that. So £20 an hour if I'm interested in the job, and £30 an hour if I'm not so interested in the job. Liking the camera settings, thank you very much. Okay, so on my new layer, this is what I do a lot. be careful which layer you have selected when you're drawing. It's so common for me to add a new layer but still be on the old layer and start drawing away. Annoying stuff. B for brush, and make sure I've got the original brush settings here. You can just about see them, I think, can't you? Yep. And let's just look at the brush thickness. And what I have to check, just go to the other models and look at the brush thickness and see, because different styles, different brush thickness, so probably a little bit thinner, I think, probably around there, yeah. Why not blend a grease pencil? Because I just don't know it well enough yet. It's an interesting one, that. I don't think it's quite intuitive enough yet to just sort of jump in and play with. And I think they're working on it all the time, aren't they? But it's not quite there for me yet. It's something I do really want to have a go at, but I'm struggling for time a bit, so I'm sticking with what I know a lot. Is often the way, isn't it? Especially when you're doing sort of freelance things and you have to get the job done. Okay, so I'm just going to roughly go around and get these lines in. And you'll notice that I try where I can to, you see my arm went a bit wobbly there, to get them fairly straight. Not straight, but clean, that's the word, so not wobbly. But I'm not worrying too much, because I probably will go in a little later on and tidy them up a bit. And I'm just going around to each one. Oh, what was that wobble there? It is a good idea to take your pen off the paper when you're able to, because then when I undo and redo, you don't undo the whole line that you've drawn. Does that make sense? Hopefully that's making sense. Jammer made some tutorials on grease pencil. Yeah, I probably need to look up some tutorials really and see what people are up to and what can be done now, because I looked at the earlier ones in when it was first sort of being released, as it were, and it all looked good. Not saying it looked bad or anything, but it just wasn't. I didn't feel like I was getting it when I was sort of playing along, following the tutorial. Hopefully that makes sense. Quixel Mixer and Armor Paint, great alternative to Substance Painter. Armor Paint I will do some work on, because I've spoken to the people at Armor Paint, can't remember their name now. Yeah, I'm quite interested in looking at that properly. I think that'd be good fun. Looks like it's going a bit high there, doesn't it? So you can see that looks dreadful now. Just getting a warning message. New driver available. Not a warning message, you know what I mean. Alert. Yeah. And so you can go across and just rub bits of the line out like there. It's a bit wibbly wobbly. Let's smarten that up a bit, just there. Okay. I always struggle a little bit with the eye. In fact, this side of the face looks a bit weird, doesn't it? I think it should just go in, touch there like that. That's better, isn't it? So I will spend a bit of time on the line work. But I will tidy this sort of thing up a bit later. Just getting the lines in the right place is the most important. Yeah, I sometimes use smoothing. I'm not a massive fan, but I tend to try and, so you can smooth your lines. But the problem with that is, what happened there? Oh, I'm on the eraser. No, it was actually, there we go. Okay, right, we'll try this again. Can you see how the line has to catch up? And it's just that catching up where I feel like it goes a bit weird, and the delay gets to me. So I only use smoothing if I have to. But I think if you got used to it, I think it'd be a really useful tool. Thank you very much, Kashagra Bajpai, or something like that. Really appreciating the free tutorials. That's good to hear. Yeah, I'm trying to keep them as free as possible. I mean, I have been approached a few times by people saying, do you want to... Oh, I've got the smoothing tendon. I think what's going on. Do you want to do a course with us and all this sort of stuff? And I just don't... there's something about the community. I don't know. I just keep it free. And it's wonderful. Like donations today have been incredible. So thank you to you both, Caffeine Injected and... Can't remember who the other one was now. Oh, I've forgotten already. I'm going to have to find out, because you can't forget, can you? Chance McDonald, that was it. There you go. Chance McDonald. I should remember that. That's dreadful to forget someone who's donated that much. That's just dreadful, isn't it? Right, back to here. Anyway, moving on. So doing some nice simple stuff with the eyes. I do have some reference images. Let's just it doesn't matter. It's a bit of a pain to get them across, actually. Oh, no, I have set it up so you can get them across. So you can see, I was doing some potion bottles earlier with some of them, but you can see all these bobbleheads, or whatever they're called, these things. They're cool, aren't they? So I've got lots of references like this. I've also got sort of skin tone references as well, because, yes, we are live. Nickname generator failed. Because I'm not actually very good at doing skin tones, I've found. I always do white characters. Hopefully that's not some sort of inbuilt racism that I have. It's just one of those weird things that I always choose white characters. But this person is, because I want it to be diverse, they're characters. So this person is a black person, and there was, obviously a female, a male, and there is an Asian person as well. So I was looking at skin tones just so it's easier to just look at the reference and think, yep, it's around there, and that looks good on the reference, so it's going to look good in mine. So nice to be able to sort of follow those things, really. Back we come to our piece. I need to. One thing I always struggle with a bit is the eyes, just getting them looking really good. So I'm going to look at a few references and see what they're doing, just so I know that I'm on par. Nice, simple. Simple for the line work to start with, but you see what I mean? That just looks horrendous at the moment. But we'll go with that for now. Oh, whoa, what's going on there? Nose should be around there, really. That's not very good, is it? I'm just sort of thinking what sort of nose. Whoa, not like that. Have I got smoothing? No, it's just lagging slightly. Oh, Windows ink or something. I don't know whether other people find that, but Windows ink is like the worst thing to ever be invented, because it just causes loads of graphics art drivers problems. Yeah, I should zoom in a bit more. I'm a little bit flustered today, a little bit tired from being ill and being live as well. I'm still getting used to the whole experience, so I'm not doing the same thing that I normally do, probably because I'm chatting to the camera and listening to people chat and things. It's much more fun this way, but it's a slower process, and I certainly do things wrong as well when I'm doing it this way. So he's sort of a slightly muscly character, this one. More muscly than the other ones, anyway. Just looking at my watch, buzzing away there. And he's got this cool pickaxe. Not sure what he's going to do with the pickaxe, but he's an explorer, so he's probably exploring, looking for treasures. Now, really, that's a bad way to do it, isn't it? Because I should follow the line through to make sure that it's straight and then rub it out afterwards. Oh, I'm messing this all up. I'm just going to go how I'm doing it. Just do what I do naturally and not worry too much about it. Hands are a tough one sometimes, aren't they? Oh! Thank you very much, Skynet. Oh, scary Skynet from Terminator. Hopefully you're not the same Skynet, because we all need to be worried about the future of AI. Hopefully, I'm assuming you understand the reference, and that's why you're called Skynet. Terminator the movie. I'm assuming everybody's seen that. That's I really enjoyed the original, and the second one I thought was actually even better. Thank you very much. I'm not HRK. I wonder what currency that is. I look forward to finding out. That's really kind. I'm just so amazed that right eye should be larger than the left. Oh yeah, the right eye is. Oh yeah, that's really. It's nice actually. I like your green skin. Does my skin look a bit green today? It's probably the green screen. Oh, sorry. You did say I like your green screen. Weird. I couldn't read that, and I read it as skin. Thank you, Interpixel. Yeah, I've had loads of fun sort of setting this up, and that's why I really wanted to do a live stream today, because like I say, I missed out yesterday on the Blender Nest podcast, and I thought, right, I'm gonna try and get on today if I can to try out my new camera. Grant is a Hulk. Yeah. Grant, can you draw? It doesn't look good at the moment, does it? And maybe I should put the other character up so that people know that I do have some skill. Separating these out, I can't remember now. There's the other one I've done. So if I can put him up there, you can see that that's the quality we're aiming for. Actually, will that disappear when I go onto this one? No, it doesn't. That's all right. And am I hiding myself? So, not saying this is brilliant, but you might be worried that why on earth is he live streaming how bad he is. But anyway, moving on. There is an internet provider called Skynet in Russia as well. Ah, interesting. Interesting stuff. Going to take over the world. It's nice to see so many people that I already... what am I trying to say there? It's nice to see so many people online, again, that I've sort of met before. Because I can't use the word met because I haven't met you. But do you know? I hope you know what I mean by that. I'm not making much sense today, am I? Cool. Someone, but I don't know the actual currency of what it is. HRK. What is an HRK? But thank you very much for the donation. That's really cool. It's just so brilliant. Getting donations, I love it. So he's still quite muscly, this person. So I'm just sort of doing sort of shaped legs, and combat shorts. Excuse me. Yeah, will be a little bit of coughing. I'll try not to cough too loudly and away from the microphone. But these mics are really great because they compress it somehow. I don't know how they do it, but you can go quite loud or quite quiet, and they're just brilliant. They're amazing, these. So I'm very, very pleased that I thought I'd really go for it. And the donations have helped as well. I thought, I think I can go for it because people are being kind and donating, so they must be enjoying it. So let's go for it with the live streaming and get some new kit, which I've been meaning to get for a while. Right, let's get the eraser tool. E is the shortcut for the eraser tool, if you didn't know. Let's make this eye a bit bigger, which someone has suggested. Good idea. Croatian Kuna. Ah, cool. So I like learning all the time. A lifelong learner, they call it, don't they? No, that's too big, isn't it? I don't know, actually. Maybe that's all right. It's slightly too big, so I'll zoom in, which is a Control Plus. I like to try and be teaching whilst I'm doing these things as well. And back to the brush with B. And it's a little bit wibbly wobbly, but we can tidy these things up later. And you'd be surprised how much you can get away with. Now that's too big. Oh dear. That's why I've got this brush, the eraser. So when I erase out, it should leave just enough so I can see the old line. There we go. It is leaving a fair bit there. So about there. Coming across to here. And let's see how that looks. It's a bit better. It's a bit wide on that side. So I've got pressure sensitivity, so it's going a bit wider. Do you play any games, Grant? I trying to keep away from games, to be honest, because they're too addictive. I was tempted. What was it? Not Gods of War, something like that. Anyway, because it's Gods of War or God of War, whatever it is. I like RPG games, fantasy style, and single player. So I can sort of play a little bit. Oh wow! Thank you, Alfred Reynold Bordish, I think it is. That's please also teach how to be so chill, calm like you are. That's very interesting. I don't feel that chill and calm, but I sort of feel a little bit nervous because I'm doing something. Yeah, this is amazing, isn't it? I feel slightly nervous because this is something that's out of my comfort zone, doing the 2D stuff to an audience. I hardly do any tutorials on 2D stuff, do I? Yeah, so it's slightly out of my comfort zone a bit, but it's nice. I know this is crazy, isn't it? It's just absolutely crazy to that people are being so generous. Wow, I've got a little screen with saying the chat revenue, which you can probably just see on this bit here. It's over there. Can you see it on this right hand side camera? But you can't see it, I suppose, where you are. But anyway, what I'm talking about. This is amazing. Thank you ever so much to everybody's support, but particularly to those who are supporting me in a monetary way. It's so cool. Right, where are we? Let's get these boots on. There we go. Coming around there. Coming in a bit there, I think. And then out again down the bottom there. and a bit of a sole around there, coming up there. So you can see I'm tidying up the mesh as well as I go, and that will come over there like that, so it's sort of cartoony, looking cool. Yes, that's Danish kroner. Is that what it is? Ah, that's quite cool, isn't it? Learning about currencies as well. Oh, did it just go there? YouTube is out. It fixed. Okay. That's the only problem when I stream in the evening, which is the evening for me, obviously. So we're 6:30, and it's my internet, unfortunately, and there's no way for it to be fixed. It might just die and then come back if we're lucky. It's very frustrating. Do I play any instruments? Yes, I do. I play the piano and I play the guitar, but not very often. I used to play guitar a lot more. I used to be in a church band, so we'd play sort of Christian music, but I was sort of running the youth work there and helping them out. And I say helping them out, not helping them out, but so it was more sort of getting the youth involved, and we were doing music stuff, and it was good fun. Okay, so just having a look around, how we're getting on. Oh, I think I've done most of the line work. I'll do the bass a bit later on, but well, I'll do that bit there, and that bit coming down there, maybe a bit coming across there as well. So I say I'll do the bass later on. I'll do the bass now. Look at that. I lied. Oh dear. Wobbly line. See, that's why it's tricky, isn't it? Is you want to keep part of the line, but you can't. There we go. Looking good. I say looking good, but, you know, it's just to encourage myself every now and again. Cool. What's your opinion on Brexit? I'm a little bit disappointed about Brexit. I'm very much multicultural, banding together, so I'm a bit sad about it. But I try and look at the opportunity in everything. I don't know that there's much opportunity in this. It just feels a backward step to me, and inward thinking, and I don't know. Did it make sense? Spiky Danto. What do other people think of Brexit? Anyway, just looking at the stream there, interesting conversations happening. Just going to tidy this line up a little bit. Oh, that went a bit awry. I'll probably zoom in for that in a bit. Okay, so once you've got your line work and you're fairly happy, just zoom out and make sure it's all good. I usually take a break at this point, but I can't because I'm on a live stream. I think the nose is really wobbly. So hide the first one, and then you sort of get a better idea. It's weird. Sometimes you think, oh, that looks all right, that does. But it's the background kind of gives it a shading look or a sketchy look, and it looks kind of cool. And then it looks really odd when you take that away. But you need to take it away at some point, so why not now? I think maybe the nose is a little bit odd. I'm trying to give him a wider nose, just because that's often the case, isn't it, with African American, slightly wider nose. It's debatable, really. But I've got a sort of picture in my head about what this person looks like. And yeah, there we go. Not so happy with that, actually. Just in a bit there, I think, and then rub that off there. So you can see my line work isn't great, but I'm just tidying up a bit. Tidying it up a bit, and you can sort of see, yeah, getting a few views on Brexit here. Let's stick to art, please. Yeah, I think you're right. Let's stick to art away from Brexit. I think would be a good idea. So to be fair, actually, when I say let's stick to art, I do actually like having a chat about things, and I in a sensible way. That's why, sorry to Spiky Danto, but there was a rudeness in your message there. So I've not shown it. So there's swearing in it, and I've not showed it because it might be inflammatory to people. But I like having a chat. My mum and her partner, they both, well, not her partner anyway, supported Brexit, and he had some understandable reasons, not from my point of view, but I didn't agree with him. But it's interesting to see his point of view, and it's really important, I think, to have that discord with people, so you don't just rubbish them. And that's what the problem with our media at the moment is. I'm going off on one, aren't I? The media will sensationalise one side of the story. So you'll see news, and we saw a lot of news clips of people being interviewed about what were they looking forward to with Brexit. And they were obviously not particularly well-educated people that they were interviewing. And they were chosen for a reason, because they looked really bad and they made Brexit look stupid. And they were saying, I don't know, but I'm really excited. And you think, yeah, okay, that person, unfortunately, doesn't really understand what they're thinking. But other people did have a valid reason for Brexit in their and my mum's partner does, and I appreciate his opinion. And it's important to have a chat about things and not just rubbish people's opinions. Anyway, could you make a video about new features in Blender 2.8x? I will, as they become more established. I sort of wait a little while before and let them become established, so that because I made that mistake before of doing tutorials and then they change it slightly and it's a bit of a pain. Where is Trump? He's normally here. Yes, indeed. Where is Trump? Where are you, Donald? I was having a chat to someone else the other day, and they were I think it was in private messaging or something like that, but they were a Trump supporter, and it's interesting. I'm not a Trump fan, but I like to know what people are thinking. I think it's really good. Unleashed, you're worse off than USA with Trump. Worry about your own problems. Have you heard about the new Blender 2.83 update about the new cloth physics in sculpt mode? Yes, I have, and I'm extremely excited about it. Want to have a go at it, and looking forward to it. Anyway, moving on to the artwork. So, got the line work in. That next stage is to add a new layer, put it underneath your line work, because this is where you can actually see the line. It's a particular style. Hello, Damien. So you put it under your line work, and then you start filling in with the colours. And I do this in a really childish way. I know it's probably a slow way, but it's the way that I'm doing it. And I literally, I suppose I ought to name this, so I'll name it colour, so I can quickly see that that's the colour. Line, just so it's obvious. And I just do a bit of a colouring in job. So, no, I'm on the eraser. That's a classic, isn't it? Yep. And make my brush nice and big. Just fill it all in. So, is that dark enough for the hair? I don't know. I often change these colours later anyway. So going around. Now, I could use the fill tool, but actually I find it a bit more fiddly, and I usually get there at about the same time. And therefore I find this a bit more relaxing. And I do like to have a sort of relaxing workflow. So I'll do it really simply like this. Because you can go to your line, select it with the magic wand, and then go back to the colour, fill it in, and then increase the selection and all that sort of stuff. I just find that it's a very technical way of doing it, whereas I'm much more of a free-flowing artist. I like to call myself. Will this 2D in Photoshop you're making now be cleaned up, colorized, and then passed off to the client as final, or converted to an object in Blender? No, it's going to be put into Blender eventually. So it has to be a sort of cardboard cutout in Blender is basically what they're after. Hence why they chose me, and that was the topic of my discussion today. That's why I'm doing 2D work. One, because I'm talking about 2D work in general, but also about whether it's a good idea to be a generalist in 3D or whether to be a specialist. And I'm very much a generalist, really. I'm sort of doing all sorts of different stuff. I'm not sure about this brown colour, actually. I think this isn't right at all, is it? It just doesn't look right. Maybe. I'll keep going for now, and then we can always change it. Now, what I should do is each of these on a different layer, and that would be more sensible. I will put this on a different layer, so I'm going to call this hair colour. because I'm not happy with it, and I might change it later, and then I'll do another, and this will be the skin colour. Try a blue-black for the hair, maybe. A bluey black. That might be a good idea. Perhaps I'll go across to that. Yeah, I might change it in a bit. Yep. So remind me of that later. Thank you, Preet Graphics. I like that. It's always nice to get some thanks. Yeah, we don't. So yes, sir. Are you black male? So you don't usually have hair like that. I'm not sure why I've gone so brown like that. You can tell I'm not used to painting black characters, and that's a of mine. My brain is not with it today. Right, let's go for the skin colour. This is probably where I'll go really wrong, isn't it? So brown, about sort of around here. I'm looking at the reference images actually, and it's still sort of fairly orange. I'm just going to have a look across at some of my different reference images. Yeah, I'm looking at sort of skin tones and things. Because remember, I haven't said yet, but this is the middle tone, the colour that I'm using. And then I will put a highlight in and a shadow in. So the mid-tone, hopefully I'm making sense there. So I'm going for the sort of mid-tone colour to start off with. Any advice for an artist with no talent, even in 1D? There is no such thing as talent. It's a bit dodgy to say that, really, isn't it? Because some people just think, wow, that was instant, and they do seem to have talent. But it is just hard work. And it's people tell me, oh, I can't draw, so what do I do? You can't draw yet is my answer usually, and it's just about practice. I mean, looking at this doesn't look great, but just a few simple tricks, in a sense, will make this look okay. Hopefully, all going well. Let's try and find this black person colour. Now, we kind of have to be a bit careful because this is worldwide. There's different ways of saying black people, isn't it? Someone was criticised in the UK. Well, I say someone. There's been several people, and they've been across to the USA, and they've said people of colour, and then they come back to the UK and they say that, and that's really disrespectful. In the UK, it's an odd one, really. Well, it's not an odd one, but it's a tricky one for celebrities, if you can say that. Right, is this the right colour? I think that's looking okay as a mid-tone colour. Let's just have a quick look around. Tricky. Yeah, I'm going to go for this colour. Right, so this, I'll just put that below the hair because that's going to be, and we'll just chuck it around here. There we go. Lovely jibbly. So nice sort of, I don't know, sort of mud brown, isn't it? Might not be dark enough, actually. So I might do these on separate layers because, like I say, my experience of black characters is not overwhelming. Do you ever cover different add-ons, paid and free, for Blender? Ever used AutoRig Pro for Blender? Not AutoRig Pro. No, I haven't. I've used Rigify, which is a great add-on, but I find it very tough to get to work all the time. You really have to know a fair bit about rigging, and I don't. You can't edit the skeleton in any way. It's real pain. I have done reviews on add-ons because occasionally people will say, here's my add-on for free, can you review it? So I get a free add-on, which is nice. And sometimes they'll pay me to review it. Oh, wow. Here's my thanks for how, this is from Thims, am I pronouncing that right? Here's my thanks for how your videos have helped me getting into 3D, which I've been stuck on trying to learn, and due to my health conditions I'm not able to enroll to school where they could learn, where you could learn that, yeah. Hope this helps you out in the future. Thank you very much. It's really appreciated. It's fantastic. From Tim's. Am I pronouncing that right? Let me know. This is the most... hang on, how much is 5,000 NOK? Because... How much is that? Because my stream revenue has gone up to £600. Wow, that's really how much it is. It's like £414. That's crazy. Really, guys, you don't have to you don't have to do this, and that is what? It's really, really kind. That's amazing. It's really great to know that my tutorials are having that much impact. That I'm rich today. That I've paid for my new camera, which is wonderful. Chance McDonald, thank you. It's fine. You're worth it. I love that. I'm quite taken aback, actually. It's really mad. Thank you ever so much to everybody that's supporting me, and not just on here, but people have been giving me donations. So they send it to my PayPal. I do put the PayPal at the bottom of the screen in case, but lots of people ask, how can I send you some donations? And that's why I'm able. Thank you to you guys. I'm able to keep stuff for free, and that's why I want to keep that mentality. I think of keeping stuff for free, and it's just incredible. Thanks to those people who have been so fantastic. It's really good of you. It's nice. It's just brilliant. I'm amazed. Could you please make more character modelling and rigging tutorials? Yes, I need to do more of that. In fact, a client has come along and they said they want me to do a character, and I said, am I alright to put it on YouTube? And they said yes, so I'll be live streaming that one. A little bit nervous because I haven't gone through the whole process live, obviously, and just looking at the chat, sorry. So it's a little bit nerve-wracking. Like this process, for example, doing it live is going a lot slower than normal, but hopefully you're sticking with me. We got 152 watches. Obviously, it's not 3D, so people are probably wondering what the heck is going on. What is Grant playing at? I don't want to see 2D rubbish. Now, I would say, lots of people say, well, I'm not really an artist, and we've had a few questions about this already, haven't we? Excuse me. But I would say that it is actually, I'm starting to think more and more, it is actually really important. It's not essential, but it's really important. And you can surprise yourself with how much of an artist you might be. You may not be good at drawing just yet. And again, that's a yet thing because it just takes practice. But you may have the eye, you may have creativity. Everybody has something different to offer when it comes to art. So don't rule yourself out, is what I'm saying. And don't get that mindset. It's a negative and a destructive mindset, I think, when people say, oh, I'm not really good at that. That means you're not going to try. So watch out for that. Try and keep positive, keep learning and experiencing new things. So, the question I'm coming back to again, oh, my spacebar didn't work then, is, what program is this? Photoshop. I'm positively miserable at drawing. You are at the moment, perhaps, and maybe that's your opinion, but that's only at the moment. You can always get better. Lunar Lotus, I'm not a big 2D fan, but I'm still enjoying watching the live stream. That's great to hear. I'm glad that people are watching it anyway, even though it's not up their street. But the question is, on my stream title was, is it good to be a generalist or should you specialise? And I'm going away from the idea that you should be a specialist. And the reason being because the industry is moving so fast that let's say you are, it might be a bit too dark there actually, let's say you're a great sculptor and you love sculpting. In fact, I'm not going to go with sculpting. I'm going to go, you're a great architectural visualization person. Okay, because I think this is relevant to today, and I get lots of questions. Because Andrew Price does some really great tutorials on that, so I'll probably do some at some point. But I just don't think I think he does it really well, and he's really popular. So there's no need for me to overlap his tutorials, as it were. yes, I'll come back to that in a second. Yes, sir. And so with the advent of AI, but with AI sort of gaining ground and getting cooler and cooler all the time. I didn't do that on a new layer. Should that matter? That probably won't matter too much. That is a bit of a pain, actually. Oh, you plonker. Because I've got the skin colour on one layer, so I can change it easily. I think that skin colour's okay, though, so we're going to go with it. This is awful, isn't it? I'm very bad like this. And layers and things. I suppose that's where I really ought to improve. But anyway, as I was discussing. If you're really good at architectural visualization, what about all this 3D scanning and stuff that's coming along, and how now you can sort of put a camera in the middle of the room and scan a house, and then you've got your 3D scan. You've got model libraries, and you can just sort of chuck stuff in. I don't know. I just find that that particular avenue of 3D is going to be the first to go. So realistic modelling as well. I think that's going to be gone pretty soon. I'm not sure about why I'm doing this in browns. I suppose I'm sort of keeping to the browns. And whereas character design and artistic style caricatures and stuff like that, then that I think that's going to be around a lot longer. Not AI will take us all over at some point. There's no doubt about that. But what gives you the most longevity? Just looking at colours here for his sort of army type shorts, maybe a bit of a sort of, is it burgundy? No, that's not very good, is it? There, grey. That sort of. Is that there was a in my original brief? I had army trousers, but not camouflage. So maybe I should go a bit greener. I'm going to go around here, I think. Yeah, I think that's fine for a base colour. Probably needs a belt, really, doesn't he? We'll see if he needs one. So I should be going a bit quicker, really, to be honest. Through this. Whoa, Diana, is that right? Diana Kawi? I can never pronounce it. Every time I pronounce it differently. It's 3 a.m. here. 3 a.m. It's nice to see you, though. So good night to you. But yeah, that is crazy keeping up that late. Don't do it. It's really not good for you. I'm sure that's why I got ill, is because I stayed up a little bit later than normal, and then ended up getting a nasty cold. Anyway, I can't really blame it on that. It's just one of those things, isn't it? Khaki is old military colour. Yeah, that's what I'm going for, sort of thing. A sort of green. Hang on, are they saying that right? I'm not sure actually. But yeah, this sort of green army colour. So you can see what I'm doing. So I've done the line work, then I'm blocking out the colour, and then I'll go in and do these sort of highlights. And it's a really sort of simple process, but I would say it gives quite good results, in my opinion anyway. I always have to say that, especially when it comes to my 2D art, because it's just not quite as accomplished, I would say, as my 3D work, because I do the 3D much more often. Now, they wanted a white t-shirt, but it's never good to go completely white. It's best to go towards the grey slightly. God, if I could find that there. I'm going to do this on a different layer. T-shirt. Because I should have done the shorts on a different layer. The reason you should do things on different layers, if you want to ever change the colour, you've got to go in and draw all over it. Otherwise, you can just do a colorized layer thing, which is much better. I'm angle it, my tablet being angled like this. That's a good question, that. So you can see, yeah, I mean, it's actually a sort of, I'd rather have it at a slightly higher angle, actually. I just sort of prefer it because I worry about my posture. I have to keep my shoulders back. I've had problems with my shoulders. I've dislocated my left shoulder into double figures now. And it's horrendous every time. It's just awful. I'm probably just a big wimp. But, oh man, it's excruciatingly painful. And I had to go to the hospital quite a few times. When I dislocated my right one, oh dear, they had to put their foot on my chest and pull my arm to get it back in. And that was, oh dear, I've never known anything so excruciatingly traumatic. Anyway, enough of that. As I worry about my posture a lot. So if I'm leaning like this, if you can see me, if I get on this camera over here, if I lean forward and do all this sort of stuff, it slumps my shoulders forward. And I actually have, somewhere around here, this thing. It's not any weird stuff, but it goes over my shoulder and it pulls your shoulders backwards. Oh dear. Dropping everything. Didn't realise my camera bag was open. Hello, Top Channel 101. Nice to see you. Frank, nice to see you. And everybody else, of course. It's just that I know these people slightly. They're sort of recognisable names. But hello to everybody as well. I shouldn't have favourites, should I? Anyway, where was I? I was talking about, posture. That's something really is very important to think about as an artist. And I have that sort of shoulder strap. If ever I found myself slouching and slumping over things too much, then I'll put that on, and it forces me to keep my shoulders back. It's a mental thing more than anything. Okay, so we've almost got all the colours in. Pickaxe now. I might borrow the brown from here to start with, and then just modify it slightly, somewhere about there. So that's a wooden pickaxe handle. And can you see I'm being a bit lazy? Oh no, I've done this on the t-shirt layer. Oh, what a plonker. I'm a little bit not with it, aren't I? Hang on. Oh no, it's because it's white. Thought it wasn't there. Pickaxe. Now this is the problem I have when I start doing things in layers. I start, just check going between the layers and then drawing over them, and then it's kind of pointless having layers in the end, but we'll see how we get on. It's kind of fun enough. Doing yoga tutorials next. Yeah, that'll be it. That's really is a 3D generalist then, isn't it? Is it okay to specialise or be a jack of all trades was my question. And so I would say you're better off being a jack of all trades, but in a sense you should have your own sort of thing that you're good at, and maybe a couple of things is even better. I could use the lasso tool as well, and paint parts of different layers. I often do that as well. It's a bit fiddly, isn't it? But generalist, and do you see I get confused caught out chatting, and then I'm looking at this and oh dear. Where was I? So being a generalist, pickaxe. I'm still on the pickaxe. I'll just get that colour for the pickaxe. Probably across the blues a little bit. And in there, dark blue for the metal. Yes, so having a few sort of specialisms I think will help you. And sometimes, because if you're a jack of all trades, then how do you stand out from the crowd is the other thing. But because that's the tricky thing with portfolios. They always say, "I'll just show what you're good at and don't diversify too much." I've seen a lot of that, and I can understand why they say it. And maybe I'm coming from a slightly skewed perspective because I don't need to worry about my portfolio as much because people are looking at my YouTube and hiring me from there. So maybe that's a bit unfair. I'm just going to go back to the line work and scrub some of this out, tidy it up just a touch. Okay, where are we going to next? Okay, so we need to go back to the face and just do a bit on the eyes and the teeth. So probably a new layer there. What do other people think? So generalist or specialist? What do you think? Strengthening exercise for the back and shoulder muscles will probably be better for you than using the strap. Yes, I do that as well. The strap is purely there to remind me to have my shoulders back, so it stops me slouching, and then I think, oh yeah, shoulders back. But yeah, I do lots of back exercises. And my shoulder's been a lot better since, actually. Right, eyes and mouth. If I could spell mouth. Weirdly, Spiky Danto, I do occasionally do some yoga. I know, crazy stuff. Come on. This is weird, isn't it? I'm finding this a problem. That trying to get across, I don't know whether you can see it on the screen. Yeah, can you see my cursor here? And trying to find the white colours here, it always clicks on there. And it's actually really tough. Because generally you never go to the full white. It just means you can't, if you go full white, you can't go more white than that. And so generally try and go as far as here, and that's it. Hopefully that makes sense. Didn't explain myself very well there. Why is it not working? Oh, I've got the eraser on again. Always doing that. There we go. Very white teeth. Oh, look at those shiners. Not so sure. There we go, a little bit, not across the blue. There we go. Bit more grey. Some white eyes. I know they're very white at the moment. Way too white, really, aren't they? You see, that's interesting because often when I do eyes, I get them quite close to the skin colour, but obviously I can't do that here. This is a bit strange for me, actually. That's a bit more like it, I think. Interestingly, I did the eyes like this, how I normally do them, and they came back and said, "Can we have the eyes whiter, please?" Fair enough. Anyway, where are we? Lots of companies get confused with generalist or general portfolios. Best to prep specific work portfolios based on the job and company applying for. That's a very good piece of advice there from Yes Sir. Charlie Rigdon, it's good to see. It's good to see on here. If you're going into a studio, 3D artists will work on a niche part, anyways. Yes, so that's a good point. If you're going for studio work, then you probably will become a very sort of specialist. I would say be careful of that, because if ever you want to go out of the studio or to a different studio with a different workflow, I mean that again, it's probably an opinion thing, but from my experience, being a generalist has really been good for me. Generalist, then when the money starts coming in, specialise on what pays you the most, and when your bank account is good, do specialism on what you love. That's a decent piece of advice there from you, Top Channel 101. The bigger, more high-end the projects, the more likely you need to be a specialist. That's very true, Foubert. Yeah, I think that's the other thing, Tom Nash, yeah. Being a generalist, you can do all parts of the workflow, so you can do your own projects much easier. I suppose that's one thing why I like to take that approach as well. Oh, his eyes are way too dark at the moment, aren't they? I'm just noticing that. Still on the eyes. Yep. I think I will go quite white for now. Yeah, so I'm always thinking, well, if a game studio won't hire me, I'll make my own game. You know, that's my personality, is just to go above that level and think, well, no, work for myself and do this for myself and so forth. So that's why it's a very entrepreneurial way of thinking. It doesn't work for everybody, but it's been okay for me so far. Anyway, it made the pickaxe in Blender. That would be kind of fun in a way, if it was 2D combined with 3D. Anyway, but yes, this is all 2D work at the moment. Right, so let's do a bit of shading for now. Oh, actually, we need to do the inner circles of the eyes. So let's go dark here. Actually, just to make it a circle, and then I'll do the white spot. Back to the white and do the white spot. What do they call that? They've got a special name for that. I can never remember what it is. I'll probably do that above the every layer in a second, but it's good to have it there just as a thingy. What's the deadline for the mythology competition? Did I not put it on Discord? Good question. It's the end of this month. It's towards the end of this month. It's always the last Monday. No, last Sunday of the month. Let's see what else other people are saying. I thought I was going to make my own game, and then as of now, I've only ever messed around in Blender. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a massive undertaking, isn't it? It's best to team up with a few people. I think that would be the best way of making your own game. Okay, so let's work on the face and start thinking about the shading. So when I'm, shall we do a high? No, I'll go to the face layer. Where is my face layer? Eyes and mouth. Did I do it? Did I forget to do it? Why did no one remind me? Hang on, so if I hide this, so I've done everything on the skin layer. Oh well, never mind. It's how it's going to be. Like I say, I'm really dreadful when it comes to that sort of thing. Okay, so you alt click to select your color, and then just go a bit darker, and then you can start thinking about the shading, and then just fill it in. So it's nice and simple. So a bit of shading, looking. I mean, I usually have the light coming from this side. It's just a force of habit. But I do like to put some backlight in as well these days, the rim light. So I'll talk about that in a moment though. So there we go. Bit of shading, and already it just comes out, doesn't it? And slowly but surely you get, let's do that like that, because that's a dent in there, and yeah, it just suddenly sort of comes out as an okay piece of artwork. I say. Yes. Sort of, anyway. Sort of. Right, let's come around here. Into there. Okay. A bit of darkness in here and above the eyelid. So you just got to think where the sun is coming from. So the great thing about being a 3D artist is that it does inform your 2D art. So so I'm always thinking, so where is the shadow? Where's the light hitting? And thinking about it in 3D. So I'm able to sort of roughly know where these highlights and shadows will be. In this case, shadows, of course. Come across a bit more here and a bit under his mouth there. Yep, and already it's got a bit of depth. Then we go a bit lighter, so do the highlights. Select the skin color again and go across. Can you notice I'm going across in a line like this? So the more sort of saturated the shadows and less saturated for the highlights, generally speaking anyway. And just sort of do a highlight there. There's usually one under there. Certainly one on the nose. Oops. They look a bit like eyebrows at the moment, so maybe that's not so good. Just having a look. Does that need to go all the way across? Sometimes, yeah, I mean, it's debatable that. Let's get the highlight there. Yeah, it's working alright, isn't it? I think too much on here. Roughly getting there anyway. Roughly getting there. I usually come back to these things once I've sort of gone away, had a look, come back. What is the next challenge? Do you mean challenges in the exercises, or challenges in the Discord server? Or oh yeah, there we go. 23rd of February. Thank you, Ball Ziegler. Ball Ziegler. Do you put highlights and shadows on different layers? I really should, Corey S, shouldn't I? But I'm being really kind of lazy. Do you know, it's a problem I always have, that I'll paint things on the wrong layers because I just sort of get too into it and then end up doing it all onto one layer. It's very bad practice actually. It's looking okay, but it's not quite right, is it? I feel like this possibly needs to come up to the yellows a bit more. Well, that's the greens. Possibly. I'm looking at reference images. Bit of a, I don't know. So come away. No, that's not going to work. I say it's not going to work. It might work, but it just didn't quite feel right. Now, I've got a highlight and then the normal colour and then the shadow, and they're quite close together, so I'm not sure that's working. Let's have a look. And the same here, you see. That's probably too close. So I'm bringing it, didn't grab that colour. There we go. I'll tidy these up in a bit. I'm just sort of getting the general look and feel. Hopefully this is going to work. Otherwise it'd be a bit embarrassing to do really badly on the stream, wouldn't it? But I suppose you always take that risk. Let's have a look. I mean, it's looking okay. It's not brilliant. Not that happy with it at the moment. Have you ever tried the layer blending modes? Yes, I have. Yep. I use them all the time. They're really useful. I probably won't so much in this. I tend to be a bit more of a sort of not using too many of the different options available to me. Do you know what I mean? I'm a bit lazy actually, because there's lots of options there, but I just sort of eyeball it and paint it in. The other problem with blending modes is I use them for certain things, like I used them for a glass bottle earlier today, in fact. So that was a nice easy one to see the background and get a blending mode working there. There we go. The arms look a bit better than the face, really, don't they? Sort of working. Maybe, does he need a line in his teeth? Maybe we'll do that in a second. Let's look at the hair again. Right, I'm doing all this on the colour layer, and the hair's above, so let's go to the hair layer now. Select that hair colour, slightly sort of reddish, and light coming from up here. Now this is interesting. Do I do it as... sort of afro. I'm not sure that's light enough actually. Let's go a bit more. I'm sort of as if it's catching the light in different places. Not sure about those last few. Sort of working, sort of. And it's not quite getting there with this anyway. Grant Bob Ross Abbott, not quite, unfortunately, because Bob Ross is doing a lot better. Have you seen the CG Geeks tutorial? I thought that was quite a good one. He did a tutorial on copying a Bob Ross in Blender. It's quite good. Try black hair with blue highlights. Yes, let's try those blue highlights. I think that's a good idea. Because I like actually to do a sort of backlight, and let's think about that somewhere around here. This might be too much. No, it's too greeny, isn't it? The problem is on a live stream, you tend to sort of think less experimental, and because you're worried about the audience. So stop that. Yes. So yeah, I'm being less ambitious, I think. And that's making it look a little bit flat, so I'm going to go for a bit more. Let's do this. Give him a cool blue backlight. This is making me think that the hair colour should have been a bit more blue. Just a tiny bit there. No, that's not right. Because if you do a black backlight like this, you can sort of make things sort of pop out a bit from the background. Let's just see. See, it is working, and it worked quite well here with the, especially the flames, and there's sort of a backlight coming across from the flames there. I'm quite liking the backlight, but I feel like the hair colour in general does need to go a bit more blue. Yep, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to undo those strokes, and I'm going to go with that original idea of somebody's. Happy little low poly trees. Yes. Oh, what's going on there? I'm just going to check my plug for my tablet, because it just gave me a battery warning. I don't want my tablet. Let's save my work, shall we? Save this work. Right, where are we? There's all my YouTube thumbnails. Jobs. I suppose I ought to do this on another screen, because you don't want to see all my jobs and things. Might be something private in there. I'm not a very private person at all, really. Okay, so this is... What's this character going to be called? Pickaxe. And Pickaxe 1. Some good titling there. Pickaxe and Pickaxe 1. Anyway, how are we all doing? So we got still lots of people watching. I'm surprised. Yeah, the whole hair should be darker, and yeah. So we got the hair color here. I mean, we could do as suggested. Will it work with the hue and saturation? No, I'm not sure it will. We'll try actually. Oh, I've got to isolate it. So you put the, so these are, can you see down there actually? Oh no, you can't, because my thing's in front of it. So you might be interested in how, Photoshop works. I'll just hide my webcam for now. Ding. See, I'm getting used to this live streaming. Oh, that was like camera 1, camera 2. Anyway, yeah. So if you're interested, I'll delete that and I'll do that again, because so on the layer, so hair color, and where whatever layer you have selected, this will appear above it. So I'll come down to here, and this is the layer thingies. What are they called? Can't even remember. Anyway, yeah, live streams are scaring me as well. But it's good to do something that scares you every day, so they say. So hue and saturation, and then I've got these controls, but I need to lock it. So Alt, and then you see how my mouse is changing there, and then I can make it go just to this hair color layer, and then I can try out some different. Whee! Looking cool. That's interesting. You see, the problem is because I've started with only a brown color, this isn't going to work, is it? I'm just sort of thinking about it. No, it isn't going to work because I have to choose. It's not a Huion saturation. That's not the right thing. So let's put that in the bin. What's the right one to choose? Is it actually color? Is there a solid color? And then if I'll just choose a blue and then isolate it to that layer. It's going to have to be, solid color is going to be the one that works. Yep, does that make sense? Because hue and saturation will change the color you've got, but it only works within the color you've got. Hopefully that makes sense. Nice to see you, Spiky Dento. See you later. Is that the Netflix version of Dora the Explorer? Yes, it is. Christone, nice to see you again. It's nice to see people making mistakes. Yeah, I suppose that's the thing about streaming, isn't it? There's plenty of them when I'm streaming. I'll tell you that. Okay, now I can go in and change this color. In fact, I can change it from here, can't I? Oh, where's that appeared though? It's not showing it on any of my screens. Where's it gone? Why can I not change the color? I should be able to. Oh, it's there. I thought I double clicked on it. Obviously not. Let's move that over there. I'll bring my webcam back. I'm liking that webcam mode, even though it's totally pointless. Thumbs up or some thumbs down for the webcam. Almost missed the stream. This was a bit of a last minute stream. I wasn't going to stream today. I'm still feeling a little bit rough and I can feel my nose running at the moment. That's the only problem with having a better camera. You can see all these different things, which I might have to go and blow my nose in a second. But I've been a bit ill. You can probably hear it a bit in my voice. And like I said, I missed the Blender Nest podcast yesterday, so I'm a bit sort of disappointed in my streaming at the moment. So it has to be slightly off. So how are we looking for hair colour, people? Let me know. The camera setup's looking good. Happy with that. So looking at the colour, hair colour, help me out, people. So the bluey tinge, I quite like the blue tinge. About there. I'll zoom out a little bit as well. How's it looking? I don't know whether people are commenting on the camera setup or the really dark, almost black, you think? I don't know. I just feels a bit too far. I do like the idea of going a bit of blue in there. I feel just a touch of blue. I'm gonna have to blow my nose. There we go. I'm back. Clean nose. Extra dark blue purple. Purpley. Let's go over to the purples a bit. Nice. Could be good. I'm liking it. Unleashed 75. Sometimes you have to make an image with the character palette and then pick the colours while that's true. I could have a colour palette off to the side and then be picking the colours from there. I say get black hair for African American. Generally though, with darker colours, to give it sort of your pictures of warmth, you don't actually. It's weird this, but you to give them warmth, it's not warmth isn't the right word, but sort of a contrast. It does clash with the pickaxe at the moment, but I'll sort the pickaxe out. Don't worry about the pickaxe. Oh, excuse me, I'm doing well there. But it's good to have sort of cool colours in there and warm colours, and not just go sort of, that's a black colour, because generally things do have more colour than you think actually. But I'm not, maybe it is black that I should be going for, but definitely clash with the pickaxe. You're keeping blue overtones, but also hit some white highlights in there with a blue. I've missed the last bit of that. Hello, Andrei Nikolenko. It's lovely getting all this thoughts and opinions from people. Thank you very much. Usually, hair is a very dark shade of blue or purple. Yeah, it does. Anime characters certainly have that. It does depend on what screen I'm looking at, because I'm looking at my Wacom at the moment, and that's a lot darker than the screen. This one up here, if you look on my webcam, that is that's really. Do you know? I probably should next spend some money on a screen. Spend some of this beautiful money that people have been sending me on a screen next. How about red? I mean, that's more like real hair in a sense, isn't it? Because most hair follicles have that sort of. They do have a touch of ginger in them. Dare I say it? People might get offended. Some of their hair might be ginger colour. I think with highlights and shadows, I think that's the thing, isn't it? Less saturation, highs come more from the lighting. Yeah, that's right. Why spend money on screens when you have all of this to comment? That's very true, isn't it? I just ask you, what colour is this? Okay, I think we'll go for that, and then I'm going to go for this blue highlight. Let's try it. Make sure I'm not on the colour layer and the colour fill. I'm just looking at the screen. I'm surprised the connection's holding up. It says it's an excellent connection, so we're all doing good. Okay, so let's. I want to go for this blue highlight because it can look cool. Right, on the hair layer. I probably should do this on a new layer because I might want to change the... Oh, it's doing a... Up there. And turn that... So that's... What's that called? What is that called? It's that thing. It's a clipping mask, isn't it? Clipping mask. That's where... Oh, dear. Hello, spooks. Nice to see you. Anyway, where was I? Making some blue stuff. So highlights on the hair, there's the layer. Not that much. What are you doing, Grant? Let's zoom in now. Zoom in. So this is, although this is not actually a highlight, is it? It's a rim light. So, and you should certainly test that out if you haven't in Blender. I did it in one of my other live streams. I was talking about lighting in Blender. And how it's really important to the backlight is one of the most important lights really when you're trying to do some cool thank you, layer clipping, when you're trying to do cool lighting really, it makes such a massive difference. It really does. Okay, so we've got a bit of a hair highlight there. Now do I want to, I think we want a bit, you see that's why I don't want to go all black, because I do need a bit more. I'm going to change this so it's a tiny weeny bit, just a touch. So I need a shadow layer, which is going to be around here. So there's the hair color, and just in here, what have I done there? Oh, that's of course because I can't. Yeah, what am I thinking? What's this layer here doing? Is that the blue layer? It's got a clipping mask on as well. I suppose that's fine having a clipping mask actually. A clipping mask means it will only draw on that layer. Hopefully that makes sense. But I need a shadow layer now. I'm going to call these hair highlights. Hopefully this is making sense. And this one is hair shadow. This is really how you should do your layers all the time. And this can have a clipping mask to the hair color, because the hair is, that means that I can't draw outside this. See, it's not, nothing's coming, but it's coming on in there. Okay, so that's what a clipping mask does. It's like masking in Blender. Olive green type tones for the skin when shading. That's a good idea actually. Yeah, I might try that because this doesn't quite work for me, does it? Yeah, I'm not that happy with this. So let's do some hair shading. There we go. Might be too much shading there. No, that's working. That's all right. It's funny, really. I suppose maybe that's my inexperience, but I find that you just sort of keep working on it, and it will work out in the end. That sounds silly, doesn't it? But I found that with my sculpting. I thought every time I start a sculpt, I'm thinking, oh, I've really lost any ability in sculpting. But you just sort of keep working and working, and slowly it sort of comes out with something that's okay. It's the trick, that is. Right, do I go for a reddish tone? Just having a quick look at what that's going to look like for a highlight. So it's just before this other highlight. You can see. Oh, I probably should have done this and then done the blue over the top, really, shouldn't I? That would have made more sense. Can you see my style? If you can call it a style of drawing is quite sort of sketchy. I'm not sure it suits this particular style actually. Is that working? Maybe I can't do the highlight if I'm doing the sort of blue. I'm trying to break it up a little bit now. We'll see. I'll come back to that once more shading's in. Yeah. Just seeing if everything's okay. So losing a few viewers, so obviously they're not impressed with my artwork. Okay, let's get some highlights. We've got some highlights on the arms. Let's think about the pickaxe colour now. So pickaxe over here. So continuing the discussion, if anybody has any thoughts on specialisms or what was I saying? What was the other thing I was thinking about? Specialisms, or should we be a generalist? Or have we done that discussion to death? So there's a highlight in the pickaxe, although do I want a different colour altogether for the pickaxe? I probably do, yeah. Yeah. Let's... more greyish. Probably about there, yeah. There we go. That'll work for a pickaxe. Yep, gradient I could do, although I think in this case it wouldn't quite go with the style, and it's a more drawn out style. It's one I actually prefer, to be honest, but I think it would go too realistic and therefore take a little bit longer. More grey for the pickaxe. Hopefully I'm doing that now. I've sort of gone a bit grey green, but I think that's okay. I'll go back to that blue highlight though, so it's as if there's a blue rim light there. I might be going overboard in the highlights. I've sort of learnt though, just go for it, and then you sort of cut back later if it's not really working. Yeah, it's sort of working. Okay, and then let's go for some darker shading on the bottom here. Interesting, that looks kind of brown on my screen. What's it looking like on that screen? Interesting. Have you done any 2D work in Blender? Not much. I've done a few sort of it's not 2D work, but After Effects-y type work. So putting things in layers, one in front of each other and stuff. So that type of thing, but not really. I wouldn't call it 2D work as such. Let's get that sort of rim on here as well. Just a tiny bit there. Bit of backlighting coming out there. And we need a bit of shadow on that wood, so let's choose that colour and then go into the darks. Bit of shading across here, like this, and a fair bit in there, fair bit in here, and a fair bit down here. Love it. And then a highlight, so we'll go there, up a bit towards the yellows, really slightly, probably a bit too much there. That looks a multicoloured pickaxe. That did not work at all, did it? How's it going? It's sort of getting there. Doesn't look as fun as my other ones. Yeah, there should be a way to calibrate the screen so they have the same colours. I've messed around with it a little bit, probably a bit too much actually, but I haven't been successful. I think there's sort of programs you can get for that, isn't there? And you have to sort of hook them up to your printer to see if they look the same as. There's probably I think there's bits of kit as well you can actually just place on your screen, and they do a better job from the sound of things anyway. Try base colour for highs, but slightly warmer and brighter reverse for shadows. Yeah, oh sorry. Try base colour for highs. It's not quite making sense, but slightly warmer and brighter for the highs. Yeah, so I tend to go this way a bit. But I probably need to go a bit more on the colour wheel sort of type. Yeah, they're very expensive, those things that you plug into your screen, aren't they? See, for the shadows, you can actually sort of go a bit more sort of bluey to make them cooler. Let's try that quickly. So I've chosen my khaki colour. Make my brush a little bit bigger. It's a bit too saturated, about there. So let's try a bit of this then. Just putting in a few shadows. Sort of bluey colours still. Let's try that then. I'm sort of experimenting a bit with these things. There should be a way to do it manually. Yeah, you sort of you have to look at your printer, and I think it's combined with your printer or something. I did look it up one time, but just couldn't be bothered and didn't really have a need for it. But I'm doing a bit more 2D work now, so maybe I ought to be doing a bit more of that. I'm going to undo my cruddy strokes that I was doing there, because they're not very good. I'll just stick with what I know. Go to the greens, pull it down, a bit more saturated, and bring in the shadows there. There we go. Need to speed up a bit. People are probably getting bored. What are we? 7:30. That's when I said I was going to stop, actually. So we'll do these last bit of highlights because we're almost there, aren't we? Hopefully, you sort of enjoyed the journey with me of doing a bit of freelance work. So I'll probably do a few more things like this. More Blender stuff I would have thought, but I just thought you might be interested in the sense that, oh, this is some freelance work that I'm doing at the moment, and then I can chat away. It's been a very successful stream for me. Should only need to use the printer if you're doing CMYK stuff. Maybe I'm getting really confused actually. Yeah, I suppose the easiest way is just put the same image on each screen and go from there. Yeah, that's very true, really, isn't it? Nice, simple thing. I feel like my highlight here is not working. I'm on the wrong layer now, aren't I? Oh no, I've done the shorts on the pickaxe layer, which is not ideal. That'd be fine then. Okay, we'll go for this white shirt here. Get some greys in it down here. There we go. Bit of shadow, bit under the face as well. Oh, gone over the other thing there. Bit on the edge there, lovely jubbly. I bet Bob Ross never said lovely jubbly, did he? That was Del Boy from Only Fools and Horses. There we go. We need a bit of this highlight though. I think that blue highlight needs to come across here. I think it's probably not working, that blue highlight, to be honest. But we'll keep going. He's got this cool backlight. Isn't he looking cool? It is sort of working, just about anyway. Have you done much animation for customers or for yourself? Not a huge amount, but I have done bits and pieces. Lots of sort of slight rigging jobs, so that the character's ready for animation, but not loads of animation. I'm trying to think back actually, how much I've actually done. It feels like I haven't done much, but maybe I'm sort of forgetting I've sort of motion graphic type things. Yep, some of those, I suppose. But not a huge amount. So if anybody's looking for an animator, don't come to me. No, it's something I would like to do, you see, so that's probably a job I would take on. I'm very lucky, really. I can just sort of think, all right, I fancy doing that, so I'll take that job on, or not. And the great thing is, you know, having a YouTube channel, I'm sort of learning and then teaching it at the same time. It sort of goes hand in hand, really. So I'm just speeding up a little bit, as you can tell. And weirdly, sort of being a bit more rough and haphazard is kind of working for me a little bit. He's coming out okay. I'm not so sure about bits of him. His face isn't great. Need to work on the eyes a bit to give him a bit more personality, but he's doing alright. I might just do a little bit of the base. Where is the base? I haven't done it yet, so let's put it in. Put another layer here, actually underneath that one. Base. And I'll just go for sort of dirt colour around there. Big brush. I'm sort of keeping this fairly simple, really. There we go. Base might be a bit wide because they have to have sort of little props to stand them up eventually. Does the version of Photoshop have a proof setup mode in View that might help? I'm not sure what you mean there, actually. Proof setup mode, not sure. It's supposed to be working, watching the stream. Love it. I personally enjoy graphic animations, not riggings. Yeah, do you mean sort of taking part Unleash 75 or actually doing them? I'm not sure I made sense there, but yeah. So the rigging process or actually animating? Yeah, I'm not making much sense. The dreadful question. I feel like I need light coming from this direction. I'm going to work on the eyes, and then we'll call it a day, shall we? Just going to erase some of this line work. Yep, just get rid of that. Clean it up a bit. Alright, so we'll do a bit of shading in the eyes. So let's just check checking that layer's right. So going towards white but a bit grey so we can... Oh, that'll be some on the razor mode. Always do that. So a bit of a shadow under the eye there. That's cool. Could go a bit darker, I think, actually, with that. There we go, somewhere around there. That's cool. Tiny bit underneath there. So as if the light's coming from there. And we need a bit of blue, actually. Hang on a minute. Have I done this really weirdly? Oh, yeah, I've coloured in all the eye, and they've got huge... That's really weird. What was I doing there? Let's get brown eyes, somewhere around there, and let's just... Have I made the eyes big enough to be able to do this with? I don't think I have. So let's erase this bit. Oh man, 200 lines of code or something. Don't fancy that much. Caffeine injected. Right, let's get rid of that and get rid of that. Where are people viewing from anyway? We've got 115 people here, so where are you saying hello from? Oh. If I could get this brush working. Let me know where you are. That's way too big, isn't it? Let's bring that brush down. It's all coming through. Berta. Where's Berta then? Florida. Watford. Oh, Watford. You're in Watford, yes, sir. Sunny Cornwall. New Zealand, New York. At 0. I don't know where that is. Oh dear, my pupils are dreadful. Russia, Texas. Oh, Alberta, Canada, I see. Hang on, that isn't the same person. Korea, sorry. Slovakia, Egypt. Oh, that's fascinating. Oh, just undone the wrong thing there. There we go. I really love knowing where people are from. I'm not sure why I'm so fascinated by that. Right, there we go. It's got brown eyes now. Skin tone too light, do you think? Could be, couldn't it? Yeah, it could be. I'm going to leave it as it is and see what the client thinks from that point of view. I think that's probably all right to do that, especially at this stage. It's a bit of a cop-out, that, isn't it? See what the client says. Go from there. So just sort of giving them some eye colour. and then a new layer on top. Just that. There's a name for this reflection, and they call it something. I can't think what it is though. Oh yeah, shiny looking eyes. It's getting there now, isn't it? Getting there. 3 Germans. Look at that. Hamburg and Sweden, Finland, Connecticut, Bristol in the UK. Another one from the UK. There's not loads from the UK actually. I always think that's where my main audience ought to be for some reason. I'm not sure why. Right, I'm just thinking about the teeth a little bit, and going to give them a bit of that white colour there. And I feel like they need a line in them. There we go. You can have teeth like mine. Wait, I'm going to undo that. I just want to highlight the fact that I know my teeth have a big gap in them. Do you get a few comments on that occasionally? What did I get one recently? Someone said their comment was just teeth. Okay, teeth. I commented back saying nose. Why not? There's the colour layer. Sorry, there we go. There's a bit of white coming over there. I don't think that's noticeable, is it? Worrying about nothing. Okay, getting there. Just a tiny bit more on the base. Let's get a bit of variation in there. Pick that colour again. Choose a highlight. Make my brush bigger. And come around here. Maybe a tiny bit there. Maybe a touch of this blue would be fun. I'm still not sure about this blue. I feel like I've got it completely... Oh dear. Completely wrong. But anyway, it's a bit of fun, isn't it? Just seeing where people are from still. Surely people are not that mean to you. It looked racist to add a black line on that tooth. Is that right? I was saying it to make their teeth like mine. Is that racist? 8:47, where you are. Elad. Anyway, where are we? So a bit more shading. Let's find a darker colour there. Just come under the boots a bit. Bit of shading around here. Bit of shading around here. I think I've overlapped the bottom there, didn't I? Yep, I did. I wasn't thinking. There we go. I'll probably put a bit of shading in there anyway. Oh, yes. That's the Churchill dog on the adverts. So I'm assuming people are from the UK, but they're not, so you won't get that reference. Cool, having fun. Bit of a highlight on there. Bit of a highlight there. And yeah, I think I was going to call that pretty much done. I mean, that's got quite a cool little background. Maybe I should sort of do something a bit more, but I can experiment a bit more with this. I probably do need to think about the skin a bit more as well, don't I? Let's move that across to there. But we'll see what the client says. They look, it's sort of a light black skin, isn't it? Well, we'll see what they say. Shouldn't some lines be thinner than others, like around the iris as opposed to the outline? You're probably right. Yep, I think that's a very good comment. Good to see you, Game Bacardi. Good night to you. Anyway, yes, so thank you very much for watching, everybody. Particular thank you to those that have supported me with a bit of cash. It's really really fun. They're really great. Yes, Poison Dagger. 2D, isn't this channel about Blender? I'm talking generally about freelance stuff, and this was a freelance job I happen to have, but other freelance work that comes in and I'm allowed to show it on my live channel. I'll show you that as well. And it was a discussion about freelance in general, so that was the thinking behind what I was doing, and I thought I'd just chat to people whilst I was doing some work as well. So thank you ever so much for joining me. Mark Carr, Corey S, thank you for being with us. Unleashed 75. The light tones in the face need to be lighter. You could be right. Bit more contrast. I'll work on that. Caffeine Injected. This channel is about games design and game art. I use Blender, Photoshop, Critter, and a few other programs. Exactly that. Yep. Lunar Lotus, thank you very much. Thank you for being here. And so I'm just trying to say goodbye to everybody. So say goodbye, and then I'll give you a shout out. See you around, Lunar Lotus. Yep, I've had lots of fun. I'm really enjoying doing these streams. So there's plenty more to come. Like I say, probably more 3D stuff coming along. Let me know in the comments below. If you've got any ideas, go across to the Discord server as well. Links should all be in the description, and this video will be up once it's finished. Yes, good night to you too, InfoTunes. See you, Caffeine Injected. So Die. Good night, Frank. Smell you later. Lance09, nice to see you. Jamie Fury. Corey S again. Good night all. Creeping Talon again. Astrobat Z. Bull Ziggler. And Creeping Talon. It's been really nice of you to all join me, and I will look forward to the next time. I'm not sure when that will be. I'll try and see about perhaps Friday. If not, well, we'll have to wait and see how I get on with work. Maybe more of this sort of stuff. So I will see you next time, and thanks for watching.